Okay, so how are we going to turn these into some nice graphs? Let's start with initial brightness. What was the brightness of the bugs at the beginning? So we've got several, a range of brightness. And if I look over at my NetLogo program, the range of brightnesses that it could have been was anywhere from 0 to 255. So very bright, 255, completely dark, 0. So I'm going to tell Excel that that's my range because that's going to help it to plot a nice graph. So 0, 255. And I'm just going to say there were none at 0 and there were none at 255 at the beginning. So if I look back here, or I look back on my original data, I will see that there were none at 0, none at 255. So here, initial brightness, none at 0, none at 255. This just gives it, makes it easier for drawing our graph because we can draw our graph from 0 to 255. So select your data, go to Insert, and you're going to choose Scatter Graph. I know you think you want a bar chart, but you're going to want a scatter chart so that you get the range of brightness going along the x-axis. So here you can see it's plotted the 0, 0 at 0, so we've got 0 at 0. But what's nice about this graph is we can keep them all the different graphs, going from 0 to 255, where it's rounded it to 300. And we can see that at 48, we had 5, that's correct. At 64, we have 8. At 80, we have 2. And that's it. So this is, and now we can change some of our chart components. So just by double clicking on chart title, this is initial moth brightness. How brightly colored were they? How bright was that? And then I can add chart elements over here. Add chart element. Let's do an axis title, primary horizontal. So this is brightness. And let's do a add chart element, axis title, primary vertical. Double click. And all this is a count. How many of them had that brightness? Okay, so there's my initial moth brightness. Let's just go and look at current brightness so I can do the same thing. I'm going to select that data, say Insert, insert a scatter graph. Notice that I don't have my 0, so on this one, if I compare this one, let's copy it and bring it over to initial over here. When I compare these, they're not really comparable because this one's going up to 90 and this one's going up to 300. We can work it out, but it'd be so much nicer if we can just look at them side by side. So let's go back to our current brightness and let's add in our brightness. Remember, our range is 0 to 255, so 0 to 255. We didn't have any at 0, or they'd be on there, and we didn't have any at 255. Now I can change this by saying select data. So where do I want my data to be? Originally it was A3 to B7. Now it's A2 to B8. And that will change my graph. Click OK. Now I've got a graph that's comparable. If I copy this graph to my initial brightness, we look at those side by side, we can see how the brightness changed over time. So this was final moth brightness. Okay, and then we have the count over here. So the range of brightness is about the same. So you'll have to decide how you are, if this is comparable, what you think. Has it changed in brightness at all? Okay, you can go through now and do the same with hue. You can do the same with the saturation, with your color. And you can also do bugs caught and time. For this one though, yeah, scatter graph again. So you look at this over time. So bunch of different graphs, and then we can discuss the data.